boys and girls, welcome back to art. I know that we didn't meet last week as much on this project because I took a break from us doing these regular projects and y'all went and worked on your squiggle art. Hopefully you had fun with that. So last time when we were working, we did part of our house. We had created this house shape with a cereal box, and then, or you could have used paper or poster board, whatever you had at your house that you could utilize. And then we cut some squares and rectangles of construction paper to create our roof. You could have also just drawn them on there. It just depends on the materials you have at home. So now what we want to do is first we want to trim up, and I told you we'd trim up some of the roof that we created. And so what I'm going to do, and if you need help, ask a parent, but we're going to just cut off with it upside down some of these pieces that are kind of overhanging our roof here so that it's nice and straight right here instead of all these little bumps right here. So we're going to go ahead and cut some of those off. And like I said, you're just cutting right next to the others, the cereal box or poster board. You're not actually cutting that. So look, now we have a nice even roof line. So now we're going to add some details to the rest of our house, and we need things like, I want to see a door, some windows, and maybe some other features that you might want to add to yours. I just found some pieces of construction paper that I'm going to use. I mean, some of them are just like scraps that I'm going to use. You can also use things around the house if you have cardboard left over or you have paper. Don't think that you have to use construction paper. You could use a piece of paper and use and draw your things. Like here, I just found a piece of white paper, and I could either also draw on here if I needed to. You could paint it, so that's another option. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you drawing on this piece of paper, and then if you choose to do something else. So I'm just going to draw some pieces on here, and then I can cut them out and attach them to my paper. So like I said, it does not have to be colored construction paper. If you have that, that might help you with coloring and things like that. So here I'm going to make squares. And then here's when I'm making a window. I make a square. Square, remember, has sides that are all the same length. And then I make a cross inside. So I do a vertical line and then a horizontal line in the middle. You can make your window different if you want. You can make it a different shape if you would like to. These are just ones that I'm showing you that I'm making. And I'm going to create 4. Because since my house is so big, if your house is smaller, you may not. I'm going to make an upstairs and a downstairs. Something else you might want to do is a door. So when I make a door, I make 2 lines that are parallel, and then I make 2 horizontal lines. And there's something that I need on my door so that I can open it. What do you think that is? Well, if you said doorknob, you are correct. We're going to make a doorknob, so you can just make a circle on there. If you want to add a window to your door, you can. You don't have to. Not everybody has a window on their door. But then I also might want to add some other things to my artwork. Like I might want, so that I have details, I might take and I'm going to make a little garden in front of my window, and I'm going to add some flowers. So I make a circle. I'm just going to make some flowers that are, and then I can put those in front of my window. So those are just different options that you can do, boys and girls. I can even add, a chimney. So I'm going to make a rectangle, and then I'm going to make a bigger rectangle going the other direction so it looks like there's something at the top. And I can even make some smoke coming out of, or maybe right now because it's Christmas, Santa's falling in it. So those are just some ideas that you can do, and then you cut them out and you glue them on here. That's just one option. You can also just draw the items on here, or you can use the construction paper to create your items. I'm going to make a few, and I'm going to glue them on here, and we're going to create a house with some details, and I will come back with you on doing that. So I've got just a brown piece of construction paper. I figured I'd match the house, but you don't have to do that, boys and girls. I'm going to make a chimney. So I'm going to make a nice big rectangle that I can use as my chimney. And then I'm going to add another rectangle, like I said, on top. Now, one of the things that I want in here is I want some details, because right now it looks like a pot to me. So what I'm going to make is some horizontal lines going across my paper like this. What I'm trying to do is make these look like bricks that are coming up off my top of my roof where the chimney is. Now, I just made some horizontal lines, which are the lines that are going left to right. Now I'm going to make a few vertical lines. So I'm going to just start here, and I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to spread it out, and I'm not going to do one in there. Now on the next row, my line has to come between these two lines. So I'm actually going to draw one here, because I'm going to pretend that there's one over here. And then I'd see how I put it right in the middle of those two. And again, I'm going to do that over here. So it's between this one and this one. And I'm going to do that all the way down. So now in here, there's not enough room to put one over here. But look, if I put one right in the middle, notice that it's even with the first one. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. It comes right in the middle of these two ones. And these are my vertical lines, boys and girls. These are the ones that are standing up nice and tall. So again, I'm going to come and put one in the middle. So look, I'm going to skip some space and put it in the middle. And over here, I'm going to put this one over here next to the edge. And again, I'm going to do the same pattern all the way down. There's not enough room there. So I'm going to come over here. And now I've got a nice little chimney look up there. And I'm going to cut this out. Remember, when we cut, we put our thumb on the top and we have our fingers in this big part down below, and we make sure when we're cutting that our thumb is on top when we're cutting, and that we cut out nice and neat. We want to go slow so that we stay on the line. And see, I don't turn this hand to try to cut. I turn the paper to cut, boys and girls. And see, I'm going to cut this off like that, so that I'm cutting pieces off. And again, I'm going to turn the paper, and I'm going to cut this. See how easier that is? And see how I notice I turn the paper again? And I'm going to turn the paper. That way it's easier for me. Instead of trying to turn my hand, I'm going to actually turn the paper, not my hand that's trying to cut. My scissors haven't moved. They're just chomp, 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 cutting out the paper. So see how I did that? So now I don't want this chimney to come like this on top of there. That doesn't look quite right. I'm actually going to glue it from behind so that it glues on just a little bit right here, so that when it's coming out. So when I use my glue, I'm going to take it and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. When I add it, I'm just going to add it right here so that it comes on, and make sure that it doesn't kind of ooze out, or we'll glue it down to the table. So look, if you notice, I'm attaching it to the back of it so that it's coming up from behind it. So it's not kind of glued right in the middle of my roof. And something I also noticed, like if you are seeing some of these spots in here, you could take like a marker or crayon. Crayon would work really good, and color in some of those empty spots if you want to, or you can just leave it. Boys and girls, so I told you that you could also come up with something and be creative and put something coming out of your chimney. Like here I made some smoke. I just colored some gray on a paper and cut it out, and I could have it coming up like this. But I also thought it'd be fun since it's Christmas time. Like I said, if you don't celebrate Christmas or you don't want to do Christmas, that's okay. Miss Shop was just thinking if you wanted to. I made a little person, Santa coming out, or a little elf, whichever it wants to be, coming up out of the chimney like this, which I thought would be cute. Or you could even do smoke, or you could not do anything. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy on there. And notice I just kind of left like a little flap so that I could glue it to the back, because I don't want him popping up on the front. So then I'm just going to glue it so he looks like he's coming out of the chimney and peering up out of it. So another thing I'm going to do now is I want to get some of the things that every house has, like windows and doors. So we talked about shapes and some of the ones that we might include. So like a door, we're going to cut a rectangle. So we're going to we'll make a green door this time. So when we make a rectangle, we want to make it a good size. Watch how I cut to make a rectangle. Again, my thumb is on top. I'm just going to cut up straight on my paper like that. And then I'm going to come this side. Remember, I turn the paper, never turn these scissor hands. And then I'm going to cut across. And now I have made a nice little rectangle. But you know what? I want something else on this door because this looks kind of boring to me. And I want more color and more details on my door. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take one of these other pieces of paper and scraps that I have. And I'm going to create, ooh, you know what? I'm going to use this piece. And I'm going to make sure that my door is inside those lines. So I'm going to create a window. Sometimes there's windows like this, and it's a half circle just like that. So Miss Schaaf's going to create one, and the reason I did it in yellow was to show that there's light actually shining in the house. But you could also do a square window, or you could do a rectangle window, or you don't have to do a window at all. I'm just showing you some different ways of creating details and really making this a really cute little awesome house that has a lot of details. So I'm going to cut this out. Again, you notice I'm rotating the paper, turning the paper. I'm not going to glue this on yet because I kind of want to see how it looks. I'm going to put that on there. I kind of like that. But also I need a doorknob. So we're going to use a circle, or you know what? Another way we could do the doorknob is just kind of a wavy line like this. So it's like a little handle. And something else I might add. No, we're going to leave it like that. We're going to glue this door on. So now that I know, I want my door right in the center, but I don't want it floating up here because then I'm going to have to take this huge step in to get into my house. So I'm going to make sure when I glue it down that I glue it down here at the bottom. And when I use the glue, boys and girls, I'm going to use like a small thin line, and I trace the shape of my door here. So now I've made another rectangle inside. Not a lot of glue. We don't want it oozing out everywhere. And I'm going to put it down on here, and I'm going to hold gently, and I'm going to count to 20 so that door has a chance to stick really good, boys and girls. So I'm going to go ahead and finish gluing this door, and we'll come back. I've got my door glued on, and now remember I said I wanted to really put a two-story house. Since this is a really big house, I'm going to use a crayon. You don't have to use, or you could use a marker or a pencil. You could even use a ruler. Miss Schaaf's just going to kind of eyeball it and draw a line across kind of the middle of your square or rectangle right here, so that I know this is my upstairs, this is my downstairs. And so now I actually want to create 4 windows. So I'm going to take and make, remember we talked about this, we had 4 squares that we created. Now, you don't have to just leave those white though, boys and girls. We could decorate those. We could color them. Ooh, like I said, right now I could use this opportunity to create and say, oh, I'm going to make this at nighttime. So I'm going to make sure that I go in here and I add some details to it. I'm going to test the screen, and I'm going to add part of a tree because you can't see the bottom of it. It's on the ground. And this is just so this is going to be one of my downstairs, but I want little lights on it. So I'm going to add some details on here. Again, you do not have to make yours like mine, boys and girls. You can make yours how you want, or you can make it not Christmassy. You can make it just your house. It doesn't matter. I'm just doing it right now because we're in that season. So I'm going to color in my tree though, boys and girls, because we don't want to leave this white space. Our trees are not white like that, and they don't have a green outline. So I'm going to neatly color it in. I'm just using my crayons and coloring in neatly. I'm not scribbling. I'm making sure that I color in all those spaces so that I'm making a nice, beautiful artwork. And now, just to color around that window, I'm going to make it, since the downstairs was lit up in our door here, I'm going to go ahead and make it kind of light inside behind it. So I'm going to color some light and make it kind of yellow in there. And I'm going to cut out that square because I know it's ready. Obviously, I'm not going to put a Christmas tree in all my windows, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on that one. So then I can cut that one out. Again, turn the paper, rotate it to you, make it comfortable for you to cut out, boys and girls. not rotating your hand trying to cut it out that way. That makes it harder on you. So look, now I can place this nice little square here. And remember, when we put our glue, we're going to trace our shape so that we get glue on all edges, and we're going to take it and hold it down and count to 20 so that we can make sure that our pieces are glued on and nothing's flopping up. We're going to try a few more things. Boys and girls, like, try making your windows and your doors and adding some nice, beautiful details. So boys and girls, this is funny. I was doing laundry earlier and I was like, ooh, this would be fun to use in my house. It actually smells really good. It's our laundry, the dryer sheets, and I was like, we can use that on our house and I can make snow. So I was like, ooh, where can I add this? And I was thinking, oh, you know what? We'll add some snow to our houses, and I'm just taking off pieces. And now my house is gonna smell really good because it's got those nice dryer sheets. But look, you can use all kinds of materials in our artwork, boys and girls, to create our houses and add some details. And now I got a pretty smelling house. So be creative, come up with a lot of ideas, and let me see your houses. See, boys and girls, I have now finished the house. I've used shapes and color and just putting together some different things to be creative. So you be creative as possible and be thinking of shapes and what you can use to create your house. And like I said, you can do what you want with it and send me a picture so that I can see. Bye, boys and girls.